Hi, this is James from HitScan, and today we're going to do a perception check on Scarlet Nexus, and we've also got Abbie with us. Say hi, Abbie.
Hello.
Hi. Right. So, Scarlet Nexus is a anime Japanese RPG Devil May Cry meets Persona style game. I'm going to jump into the early parts of the story because this is a real story-heavy game, and we want to try and avoid spoilers as much as we can. So I'll just show some little bits from, like, this is like 10 minutes in, and I'll just let some of this play out whilst we talk over it. Yeah, so it's got, as you can see, a very anime art style to it.
Yeah, I'm loving the way this looks so far.
A lot of people paying their respects.
And it goes into these cutscenes very often. And it's kind of weird because the background shots are like in-engine stills.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of purposefully going for that like manga style look, like a motion manga, which is kind of interesting.
I've never seen anything like this before, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't think I've seen it in a game before either. Yeah, it very much has that like motion comic vibe.
Yes, it does.
But you get this a lot, like a lot, like 50% of the game is this.
Okay.
Very, very few actual like motion cutscenes, unless it's like something that has a lot of action involved in it. You know, like a guy's doing like a cool maneuver or something like that.
Your dad would get mad at me for saying that about our country's forefather.
I do find it slightly creepy that they're not blinking.
Yeah.
And the mouth is only moving.
Yeah, very rarely do they show like facial expression. But anime tropes wise, this game takes some liberties. It expects you to withstand a great amount of anime bullshit. The characters are just like, this is the lazy one, this is the tough one, this is the annoying one. You know, like it has a lot of that.
Yeah.
Very bad luck.
Me too. This is a bad sign. Oh, I'm dying. Let's go to a cafe or something after.
Always a great thing when games have voice acting.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, I was just listening there. It has the ability to swap between the Japanese and English voiceovers. The English ones aren't actually that bad. I've not been bothered by it personally, and as someone who watches like a little anime, like not a lot, Sword Art and a couple of others, I find their English dubs really annoying. But this has been pretty okay with some exceptions. So we're going to jump into some combat here. Oh, actually, first, before we do that, so you can get a sense of the environment here. So this is kind of the starting city that you're in. As you can see, everything except characters is kind of very low poly, like PS2 era style of, and that's because you can throw a lot of the environment round in combat, which I'll show you in a moment. It has save states, like old-fashioned, go to the save point and hit the save, and a shop. So here's what's weird about this. Every sort of story section gets capped off by a standby phase, where you are in your hideout with all of your party, and you can talk to them, go on bonding missions with them, so that your bond increases, and I'll show you why that's important in a moment. Weirdly, minor spoiler alert, I suppose, there's no romance in this.
Oh, god damn it!
Yeah.
No.
I was disappointed as well after spending ages getting one person's bond level all the way up to full. So we'll dive into the combat here, just so I can show you a little bit of how that works before we jump into the character stuff, because that goes real deep for a game like this, and it surprised me just how much info it was throwing at me with how the combo
Other alert.
SAS
But today's
system
forecast
works.
said the threat
And
level
you're probably
here was
thinking like,
0.
SAS, like special forces? No. I'll show you in a moment. So this is the enemies that you're fighting. These are others.
What?
It's
Others?
explained where they come from later on, but it's not immediately explained. They all have this weird, I don't know, kind of a Devil May Cry meets something that someone would make in dreams on the PlayStation. Like,
Yeah.
you get this like weird flower bouquet wearing a corset with long demon legs, but it has high heels on. Like, all of the enemies have this weird look to them, and you'll see in a moment when we get into the combat here.
I'm loving the music.
Oh yeah. Oh, it has a kick-ass intro as well, which we'll try and like play up to that, because I think that kicks in fairly early on.
All these cool helmets.
Oh yeah. For the guys that you don't, that aren't main characters, they don't get their faces drawn. They're just
Yeah.
So that's Karen. That's a dude, and it's pronounced Karen, not Karen. He does not want to speak to your manager. He is just there to kick ass.
Noted.
Karin Regiment, Fubuki Regiment, Plan A, roll out.
See? He no fucking around.
Head to the shelter.
Yeah. I feel like he is the manager. He doesn't want to talk to them.
Wow.
Hey, Yuito, we have to.
So I'm gonna just pinch through this real quick so that we can get to the meat and potatoes of it. Oh, so yeah, really quick. You get brain messages. So this game is wild. So it has this like Hideo Kojima weirdness to it.
Yes.
That I feel I'm finding a lot in a lot of like Japanese games. Like, they must see how successful he's been with the Metal Gear series, and they're just leaning hard into that. So you have like brain interactions with people. So instead of like texting, you're brain messaging people. And I'll show you in a little bit here, because we don't have it right now, but there is like some brain drive and brain dive technology. It goes some places. The plot gets real weird. Like, really, really weird. Like, they mention the moon a lot. And
The moon!
Like, yeah. And when people have their heads eaten by others, it's censored, like in their vision. Their vision is censored, and they get adverts directly to their eyeballs. It's like augmented reality is built into them, and it's like this whole like, oh, the government's controlling my mind, man. How can I believe my own eyes? Kind of thing. It's just wild. It feels like it's trying to say something on these things, but it doesn't ever really like actually give an opinion on these things, other than the government is bad.
Yes.
That's kind of it. And
They're
journalists
trying to
are
be
bad.
deep without going there.
Yeah, which is, the total opposite of a Kojima style
Yes.
of stuff.
Can't just watch people die.
I don't want to go alone.
Thanks.
But yeah, like the press are known as crows in this. Like the crows descend, like the press are, their cameras are on drones. And drones just appear and like film you while you're doing all this shit, because they're really interested in like seeing, the others, and like seeing the OSF, the other suppression force, which is what you're a member of, deal with these others and like big them up as heroes.
It's not
Yeah,
safe here.
very.
Yes, sir.
Be careful.
It's wild. I'll get into that in a moment.
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack here. So this is just the basic combat stuff. So as you can see, it's really like Devil May Cry-y. There's even like an aerial launch, and you can kind of do your aerial rave air juggles.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that type of vibe.
Yeah. Now, this has two main characters, playable characters, that have mostly the same story up until like chapter 3, and then it branches off heavily and comes back together near the end. So we're playing as Yuito right now, which is the male character. He has a sword. Kasane is the female character, and she has these kind of like daggers, basically. She's a little bit more ranged than Yuito, but the range isn't much more than the sword. They both have the same special ability, which is essentially a telekinesis. So you'll see in a sec when I get into another fight.
Was that the last of them?
And you'll see here, Kasane comes into this. Dramatic anime slow-mo fall
He's fine.
with cool guy flip. And then dramatic, you know, it's an anime
It definitely is,
with
yeah.
a game on it. It's basically what this is.
I'm glad that we kind of have these animated cutscenes though, because in a lot of anime games it's just like a drawing of one of them in front of your screen.
Yeah.
And it kind of describes what's happening but doesn't actually show you.
Yeah, like you hear the sounds of it happening, but it doesn't show you. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not really
That's
much of
odd.
that in this.
You a civilian?
So question mark there is actually Kasane. This is so in Yuito's story, he sees her like in a dream as a person who saved him when he was a child, and that's
You're
what made him
OSF?
want to join the OSF.
Oh, no, I'm a cadet.
But
I
he's
see.
seeing her for the first
Either
time
way,
now,
our goal
and
is
he's
the same.
kind of confused about it.
What do you
And
mean, goal?
for anyone with a
Are
brain,
you an
you can
idiot?
quickly ascertain that
Huh?
there's probably some time travel
It's
involved.
coming.
Huh?
Probably. Oh. He looks cool.
Yeah,
Here we go.
so you get some cooler looking enemies like
Okay.
this. But they are typically boss monsters a lot of the time. Though later in the story, they sort of come into it as like, you know, normal others.
After we take out the others.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's dodging in this game, there's combo attacks, there's comboing your powers with all of your friends' powers, which I'll show you after we get out of
Okay.
here. In fact, I'll show you that right now, because fighting this guy's kind of pointless when you've seen the basic stuff. So I'll pick a later save. Sorry, you were going to say something?
I was just gonna say that like I'm really enjoying the telekinesis thing. I think it's really cool. You can probably get really creative with that, I imagine.
Kind of, yeah. See, I'm wearing my tinfoil hat because got to stop them getting into my brain, man. The government can't get my brain. Yeah, so this is the hideout. You unlock this fairly early on. This is kind of where your standby phases happen, like I say. And if we go to Hanabi, we can give
Is
her
that a
gifts.
cat girl?
I put the cat... Right, okay. So, let's get into that then. So there are visuals that you can buy and unlock. So I'm wearing a breastplate, a tinfoil hat, and a little side pack. So I'm guilty of making her a cat girl. Yeah, she has cat ears on.
Don't feel guilty. I would have done the same.
And a little body ribbon and this cool armband thing because it's
cute.
it's red and she wears red and it looks cool. And yeah, I've dressed a few of them up. Not all of them. Right, Luca, I hate this kid, so I just dressed him up in things that concealed his face because it's just I find it creepy and weird that there's a little kid in my party. He's kind of like that one kid from oh god, what's it called? The superhero show with Ellen Page in it.
Oh, Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, he's like the kid from Umbrella Academy. He has the same like teleporting thing,
Okay.
just without the time travel. Yeah, but I hate him, so I covered him up. Yeah, so I'll give you a rundown of the characters. So basically, when the story sort of splits, you end up with only a few members on your party. So pretty much the top and bottom rows are the parties that you go with for the majority of the game. So when you play as Yuito, you'll get Hanabi, Tsugumi, Gemma, not Gemma, and Luca. When you go with Kasane, you'll get Shiden, who I hate. This guy is the epitome of the word douche. Arashi, which is your like lazy person. Kyoka, who's kind of cool, and then Kagero, who's really cool. I like good character, actually good anime character for a change.
Nice. We need more of those.
Yeah. So you can give gifts and go on bonding missions. So we'll just give this gift here, and it shows you kind of see on the right there that I'm going to give this to Hanabi, and it's a red love heart, so she's going to like absolutely love it.
Okay.
So we'll give this gift, and this takes too long. It just takes. I wish I could just skip through it.
Way. Thank you.
So you'll get a reaction, like a set reaction like that, and then she'll say some stuff without saying it that's specific to that. And then what you'll see is, as you give these gifts, you'll find them. Well, there it is. There, you'll find it about the hideout in their sort of like little desk spots. Hanabi is a bit of a fire hazard though, because I gave her some oil and some candles, and they're right next to each other. So yeah, thanks for that one, Hanabi. Yeah, and you go on these bonding missions that basically they're like more cutscenes. Sometimes they lead to like little, small, like 20-minute missions, like combat missions. Okay. But most of the time, it's just more anime stuff. So we'll pick a... I'm just trying to think where's good to show that isn't spoilery. Yeah, sure. Let's go for that. So there are a lot of areas in this game, but they use them quite a lot. You have to do a lot of backtracking. Oh, Luca, get out of my party, dude. Why are you here?
Aww.
So okay. you can hard swap people in, and you can see that each of them have powers. So mine's the psychokinesis, which is the telepathy kind of thing. Not telepathy, telekinesis. Hanabi is pyrokinesis, fire. Kasane has the same ability as me, but when we combine them, cool things happen.
Okay.
And then you've got clairvoyance, basically shielding, teleportation, electrokinesis, hypervelocity, duplication, invisibility. There's a lot of stuff. And as a result, on the controller, there's a lot of modifiers to buttons. So you'll see down in the bottom right there
show me that equipment.
That I can switch. So here's all the powers that I've got assigned to the first screen. If I double tap that, then there's more here. And I'll show you kind of what those do in a sec. Let me just find some others to kill.
Could you play this with mouse and keyboard as well?
No. I tried it just a little bit to tell you how it is. It sucks.
I'll take it.
Don't do that. Play it with a controller. Like, just don't. Like, you'll spoil it for yourself. So here's a cool telekinesis thing. So right trigger throws a box at him. That's cool. Left trigger brings up some quick time events that when you pull them off right, just ruin people. And they drop shiny things. And we like shiny things.
We love shiny things.
So. Yes, okay, excellent. So, this guy splits because he's a doppelpod. Okay, so we use clairvoyance, and the real one's highlighted. And then we can go at him.
Oh, okay.
And you'll see those 2 meters there. There's health at the top and a crush meter at the bottom. And I'll show you what the crush meter does right now.
Oh. Badass.
Basically, it's a doom execution.
Yes.
So, in your brain map, which is like your talent tree, you can spec for brain... It's right. God. There's so much to this. So, There is Brain Drive, which is kind of like you charge that little meter up there. I don't know if you can see next to my health bar, next to Kasane's name on the left, there's a drive meter. When that drive meter fills, you get, basically your HUD goes up, and you get this like weird Watch Dogs kind of face to it, like a digitally weird face.
Okay.
And you attack really fast. Your attack goes up, your defense goes up, and your combos don't really change, unfortunately. Which is kind of one of the problems I have with this game, is that as cool as it is to have all these like powers, like you can see here, I'll go into hypervelocity and everything's slow-mo and it's amazing. I'm still just doing the same few attacks over and over again. And a lot of it is just air juggling, I've found, is the best way to deal with every enemy. And then just doing the crushes. You can, like, briefly... So you see I've got 2 AI party members here.
Yeah.
They act according to the way I've set them up here. So you can see that you can change the tactics so that they'll battle at will, target same enemy, target different enemy, blah, blah, blah. Target different enemy. I don't know if it's just bugged, but every time I go for target different enemy, they just stand there. They don't do anything. At all. Target same enemy works pretty well. Battle at will is the best one I've found because you kind of want them to engage with other enemies to keep them busy whilst you're air juggling, because you're kind of vulnerable while you do this. Although you can like spec for an air dodge, which is pretty cool. I like that. The dodging in this game, you can spam it, which not a huge fan of.
Okay.
So there are certain sections as well in maps where you need abilities to get through. So Lucas teleportation gets you through those bits, basically. Anywhere you can see but can't physically access, you can get to with Lucas stuff.
Okay. I like that. A bit puzzle solving.
Yeah. So when they refer to SAS, that's what they mean. It's the skill system, skill combination system, basically. So let's try and do something cool here. So we'll use the duplication ability. So it duplicates us.
Oh, you're like Naruto.
Yeah, and it duplicates the things we throw.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And later on, you can kind of combine these. See, this is another weird thing. Sometimes those QuickTime events, even if you do them right, if it doesn't line up with where their model is at the time that goes off, it doesn't work.
Okay. Would you kind of have to line out before you do it, then?
Yeah, I guess wait for them to be static, but like you don't always have time to do that.
Yeah.
So I've played through it on hard mode. For the most part, it's been relatively simple because there's a lot of, you'll see in the bottom left here, there's a lot of healing items, and you can carry 10 of each of these. So you can heal pretty quickly. And you can also spec so that you heal outside of combat.
Okay.
And you get the harden ability, which makes you immune to any damage for a pretty good while. And yeah, it's not been a massive challenge apart from one particular boss fight that I can't say the name of because it will spoil. But it's a bastard because it just stands there and throws projectiles at you over and over and over again.
Oh,
and
no.
I could not stand up. It stun locked me. Like,
oh,
hard stun locked me.
no.
So that was a nightmare. I eventually managed to do it, but it was I feel like it was pure luck. I don't feel like I earned that at all. So let's see.
See, that's the issue I always have with JRPGs, is that sometimes they make things too annoying.
Yeah.
But you also don't have a choice. Like, if you want to progress, then you have to do it.
Yeah. So you can see here from the characters have the levels underneath them. Those are the bond levels. So as you do more of these episodic bond levels and give them more gifts, you'll eventually, be able to max out the bond level. And as you go along, their SAS effects or their skill share effects go up. So you get, extra combos, It prolongs the effects a lot of the time. You'll get like special moves. And you'll also, so I'm just going to jump into somewhere else here that I can sort of better demonstrate. Oh no, I'm trying to pick somewhere that's not got spoilers. It's really hard. Oh. Right. So you can kind of, even though the combos are relatively straightforward, like you can do some cool things like this. Oh, okay, hold on.
Watch out for electric. You won't be able to move if you're electrified.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a few levels where you can basically like take a piece of the wall and ride it like a skateboard, and then ram it into people.
Cool. That's cool as fuck.
There's a bit really early on where you can get on top of the bus and you ride the bus around, and then when you've finished riding it around, you throw it at people.
Love it.
Nice work, Yuito.
So, yeah, I originally thought when I saw all these abilities and all these characters that it was going to be kind of a Genshin Impact thing where I'd be like swapping between them. You can call them out really briefly to do a move. So you'll see here,
I put a picture of a treasure ship under my pillow.
as I'm just hitting left bumper and B, that they're coming out to do one move, and then that's it. Then I'm back to me again. And if I combine my
Do what you want.
psychokinesis with Kasane's, who's got the same power as me,
I can do
I get
this.
stronger.
Ooh.
Thanks, Yuito.
Nice.
Good work.
And that move is super helpful in the late game, let me tell you. Yeah, make sure you got Kasane in your party for the later stuff if you're on hard mode, because otherwise it's a nightmare. I'll also quickly show you, once I've got through this, I want to try and grab a big enemy and show you the brain drive stuff, because that's wild as well, the brain field stuff.
So, was this guy invisible and then you used...
Clairvoyance to see him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you find that in a lot of areas where you kind of like first get to use a character, that their stuff is really well suited to the enemies that are there.
Yeah, yeah.
Use my power?
Now, do I have... Hold on. I want to see if I can...
Guys good?
Thanks. I feel better
Yeah.
now.
Here we go. So, this is Brain Field. So this is kind of like a charge up, like limit break, if you like. Final Fantasy style.
Yes.
So
Oh.
you have a little timer that runs down there. You can see I've got like 25 seconds left to do this. It's a brief, super powered state that you can go into.
Wow.
And you can do some pretty nuts things like just throw everything at someone, and it does massive damage.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So you'll see there, like, Ariashi appeared on my screen really briefly.
Yeah.
She increased the time I had in that state because of the bond
okay.
level. And you'll find as well that when you get killed, essentially, when your HP reduces to 0, sometimes they'll just revive you, and it's totally random. I've had it happen like 3 or 4 times in a row whilst fighting the boss, and it was like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, I don't appreciate how easy it's making it, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Looks like the enemy dropped something rare.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the combat, really. It's a lot of doing that, and every now and then activating a thing that you might need, and then brain crushing them.
Yeah, I really like how the combat works. I think
Yeah.
it's super fun.
So
Does it get repetitive at all?
I found, so I played through 25 hours worth of this, so I've gone all the way through Yuto's story, did all of the Bond quests, like 100%ed it, essentially. And I found that after about 15 hours, I was thinking to myself, like, how cool would this game be if when you went into all these different states, they had different combos?
Yes.
Or, like, a lot of the combo stuff is hidden behind, like, unlocking them on the brain tree. So, like, you'll see, like, expanding spin move attack is a thing you have to unlock. Double jump is a thing you have to unlock. Now, jumping, I've only seen one platforming section in the entire game, so it's not very useful at all. Because you can get, like, this aerial launch that you saw that gets things into the air, so you don't really need to jump.
Yes.
And you get aerial dashes, mid-air dash attacks, stuff like that. And, you know, rebounding, that's pretty cool. Charge attacks and stuff like that, that's all locked behind, you know, going further into this brain tree. So when you start, your combos are really basic and it feels very limiting. So when you finally get to these, you're kind of hoping that they'd be a bit better.
Yes.
But they're just kind of okay. Like, I feel like it would be much better served being able to, I don't know, temporarily switch weapon, like Devil May Cry style, and then have a new combo, like new animations and, you know, different damage values and things like that. Because it does get quite samey. But I will say, as cheesy as the dialogue is, and as much as the anime bullshit tropes are annoying, I've kind of grown to like a few of the characters. And the story, whilst absolutely batshit insane, like, I could see this being a good anime, and it is getting an anime if it doesn't have one already. I've seen a couple of episodes in Japanese, because I was just interested to see, like, how would this look, like, actually as anime. And it's okay. Yeah, it's I like some of the characters. I think Yuito as a main character, he's your traditional, I don't know anything, explain it to me. Like, anime explain it to me.
Yes.
And it does a lot of anime explaining. Like, someone will walk into a room that's like, you know, someone you've never met, or even someone that, like, maybe you have met. And instead of saying, like, you know, like, having an introduction, it's like, someone will just go, oh, aren't you the, like, daughter of the OSF hospitals? Like, you know, and it's just like, what? Like, the dialogue is just so all over the show. But, yeah, it has I will say, nothing about how it concludes, but it has a satisfying conclusion. And some great boss fights. I mean, some really, really well-designed boss fights that were just cool. Like, the last boss fight, I had to use every ability. And I just wish that more of them were like that. You know, or that forced you to use a bunch of your abilities. But a lot of it's just kind of like freeballing it, but there you really needed them, you know. Yeah, it's cool. This game is, I think, I want to say that it's earned its right to have a sequel where the combat's a bit more fleshed out, like more combos. I want to see, you know, more of this, more like mashing skills together and doing crazy combos.
Yeah.
But I also want to see, like, more weapon variety than just like, here's a sword, slash with it. Like, it could really benefit from that Devil May Cry weapon switch type of deal. And it definitely, like, leaves itself open enough to do that. And I would genuinely like to play more of this. There is a new game plus, and I've started Kasane's story.
I've got a nearby resource reading.
But I don't know if I could go through another 25 hours with just the same few moves again, now that I know it doesn't go anywhere, you know? Like, the story had done enough to hook me in so that I didn't feel that shallowness to the combat. Which, you know, probably says some things about how good the story is, despite its insane, the government, the moon, crazy monsters, fucking the moon. I can't really talk about how that stuff goes, because, again, like, 50% of this game is story, and you can't really talk about, like, any of that stuff without spoiling it. But it's nuts. like they refer to the moon a lot, and the way they refer to it is so ridiculous that you wish they'd said, like, I don't know, how can I say this without spoiling it? Like, lunar colony instead. Sounds cooler than, the moon. Gonna go to the moon, man! Like,
The moon.
just silly. Anyway, I'm just gonna quickly check and see if there's anything I haven't covered in this, because it's just... Oh, don't go there.
Oh! Spoiler.
Yeah. Is there anything I haven't covered here? There's a lot to this. Oh, right. Yes. So, there was a shop man over there, wasn't there?
There was, yes.
Right.
You want an
Okay,
easy
let's
win?
go back to
I can
the
always
shop
give you a
man,
hand.
and I'll show you the crafting system and shop system thing, because that's kind of weird as well. I've seen a lot of I've watched a lot of people playing the early parts of this game and being really confused. So hopefully this will help, I suppose. So you can buy stuff with your K, whatever that is, that money down there.
Hey.
So,
Yeah.
So you can buy, like, each standby phase will unlock new weapons that you can either buy or craft, and you can see there, like, who they're for and how much, like, value they'll give you. So everyone has, a different weapon that is unique to them. There's then these little sort of add-ons that give you extra defense, extra power, extra health. There's also some of these other ones that you get kind of later on, where they mitigate the chance of being wet so that electrical attacks don't hurt you more, oil-proof coating so that fire attacks don't hurt you more, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get other ones where these give you, like, better chance to burn, shock. These give you, like, more chance to get the brain crush off, so the crush meter depletes faster. There's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff.
There is.
Weapons. So there's an exchange section in this as well as a buy section. So as you go around, you'll kill stuff and you'll get battle records, ecologies, and suppressions. So these are just like bits of data that you can exchange with this guy for stuff. So you can see there, like, if I trade in this sword that I have with some data, then I'll get this cool sword. And there's environmental data as well, which you don't get from enemies. You get it from, it's like literally like a white sort of glowy box that's hidden around the map. So as linear as the maps are, they do have some like little branching areas that you can go off in and usually find those like environment pieces. And they're kind of more important for the presents or the gifts that you're giving to people to like increase that bond. Right. So it incentivizes you to go looking for that stuff. And I will say that Abandoned Subway Environment A, that particular one there, was a fucking nightmare to find. There is only one of them, and I needed to be so far in the story that I had the electric guy to open the door to get it. So it was sat there waiting to be exchanged forever, and it pissed me off.
Oh my god!
So yeah, it has some minor annoyances like that too. And then you can buy all your visual stuff, which does absolutely nothing. But like, you can put a tinfoil hat on someone, and that's always hilarious. You know,
you gotta give your characters that drip.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at him. He's got a samurai breastplate on and a tinfoil hat. He's protected from all the bullshit that this anime game can throw at him. He's
While
fine.
at the peak of fashion.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so that's Scarlet Nexus. I don't know if there's really anything else to say on it other than I think it deserves a sequel. This game is pretty good. Like, if I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would say like it sits somewhere around a 7 or an 8. It's an enjoyable experience if you can, if you built up a tolerance to anime bullshit, or if it's just been so long that you've not played a Devil May Cry and a Bayonetta, or you've just played them to death and you need something else to mash buttons on, This is a totally adequate one of those. But this stuff down here with the skill stuff, it gives it a little bit of flavour. But like I say, in a sequel, I'd love to see it just more fleshed out. But yeah, I think right now it sits at about £40 on Steam. It's a hard sell at £40.
Yeah.
I
Did
think
surprise me a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's probably wait for this to go on sale and maybe pick it up at the sort of £20-25 mark. I don't think it deserves a AAA price. It's very much a B game, but it's a good B game. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say on that. Any questions before we wrap up, Abs?
I'll just say, like, I can understand this getting repetitive, but I think if the story is good enough, you can kind of look past that sort of thing. And the story seems insane, which
definitely
makes me want to play it because I want to know like what the hell is going on.
Yeah,
So I can see myself playing this.
it's a good story despite its batshit insaneness, and it takes itself completely seriously right the way through, which makes it even more hilarious that they didn't like they totally double down on that seriousness, and it's just wonderful, but terrible at the same time.
Also, I feel like the over-explaining thing, you find that a lot in sort of anime type games.
Oh god, yeah.
It's in Danganronpa. I don't know if you've ever played that, but
Yes.
it's in that all of the goddamn time.
Yeah, and
but
guess what? It's
so
in this too.
good, so-
It is absolutely in this too.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Like, a lot of it. You have to have a very, very high tolerance for it. But if you can get past that, this is a totally recommendable game, but not at full price.
Yeah. Come on.
So yeah, that is Scarlet Nexus. Thanks for joining me on this one again, Abs.
Thank you for inviting me.
And thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.